It isn't usually a score fest, seeing that the defense is usually faster than the offense and can chase them down. That is unless you play as Bo Jackson, who is notoriously known for being abnormally fast in this game.
Yep.
Most fans of this game won't even play against or use Los Angeles.
All right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all are having a good night so far. Hope you're having a good day. So, when I was reading the comments for the reaction I did to that NBA Jam video, a couple of you threw out a suggestion to check out Tecmo Bowl. And guys, I grew up with Tecmo Bowl and Tecmo Super Bowl. So, absolutely. I know it's not basketball related, it's football related, but, you know, it's the After Dark, so screw it. Let's do it. That one was so much fun, and so much fun to talk to you guys in the comments about. I'm pretty sure if you were a sports fan during that same era, you played this game as well. So this is called Tecmo Bowl, A Brief History and Retrospective. Let's see. It's from a channel called Quinn Noble, which I've never seen a video from. But this video does have 22,000 views. So, you know, as far as legitimacy goes, I think we're okay. And I scanned through just a little bit just to make sure. And it seems like a pretty cool vid. So, no, I didn't watch it, but, you know, I just scanned through just to check quality. So let's check it out. I've got so many good memories with this game. Obviously, Bo freaking Jackson was an absolute OP god in this game. Unstoppable. And I'm sure they're going to emphasize on that. So I'm not going to do super long intro here. Link to the original video is going to be down below in the description if you want to watch this one without me. What else do I have to say? Not much. Like the video if you don't mind. It'll help me out a ton, as it always does. All right, let's kick back and enjoy this one.
How's everybody doing out there? My name is Quinn Noble, also known as Silverhawk, and I'm getting pretty pumped about Super Bowl 55. So I wanted to take a moment to remember one of the greatest football franchises to ever grace us on home consoles. So sit back, relax, and grab your favorite football snack as we take a look back at Tecmo Bowl. The 80s was a booming time for sports and video games alike. With the invention of cable television, everything was getting maximum exposure and sports started finding their way into the arcades. In 1983, we got 10-Yard Fight from Taito.
I remember this.
This fast-paced football simulation game was said to have brought football games out of the Atari era. It was ported to the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985 as one of the system's launch titles.
Wow. I own this game. This was like one of the only games that we had on a Nintendo as far as like owning, because we just rented all the time. But yeah, we had 10-Yard Fight.
These releases were commonly referred to as the system's black box lineup. The game was not quite as fast as its arcade version, and neither were quite football. When you controlled your player, it controlled the other players surrounding you.
So crazy. Wow. I haven't played this since I was a
2 years
kid.
later, a new company called Leland Corporation gave it a shot with their game, Quarterback.
Okay. I remember this
Quarterback
too.
had more control over the plays, and the players actually formed like they did in real football. Additionally, it had cities of real teams, but with no NFL license, the team mascots, colors, and logos were not used. A few steps were taken in the right direction, but the fun factor just wasn't there.
I don't... See, this is one of those I remember, but I don't remember actually playing. Let me know if you guys did. Ooh, it doesn't look too fun. No.
Now, with thought.
At that same time, an up-and-coming company called Tecmo was working on a game of their own, aptly titled Tecmo Bowl. The first version of Tecmo Bowl was released sparsely into arcades worldwide. It's a very large, semi-rare cabinet. It has a mirror dual monitor presentation that is very similar to the Smash arcade hit X-Men.
No way. I never heard of this.
It's an arcade-style football game that can be played with up to 4 players.
Dude.
There are only 2 teams, the Bulldogs and the Wildcats.
I gotta find a ROM of this and play it on like an arcade emulator or something. That looks fun.
Each team has 10 players instead of the traditional 11. Each user can control a player from either team. If you are the Wildcats, you are either Ken or Bob. If you're the Bulldogs, you are either Eric or John.
Okay.
Your quarters supply you with
Ken, Bob, Eric, John. Okay.
time. 1 quarter equals 1 minute.
One
If you run
minute?
out of time, the game is over. There are no plays to pick. You decide who to throw it to before the snap. For me,
So no
this
running.
resulted in a lot of interceptions.
Uh-huh.
Kicking is also very difficult. The meter goes very fast, but I think that adds to the arcade-style fun. Also, on 4th down, there is no field goal or punting options. Just 4 downs hard.
Wow.
The game did something that all the others could not. It painted that fun football atmosphere. Even at the end of the game, the fans are ripping down the goalposts.
Whoa. Why do I remember this though?
While Tecmo Bowl marinated in the arcades, it was Nintendo who made it.
Okay, I definitely. Now I'm confused. I don't recall ever seeing that because me and my brother would have been all over that in the arcades. But I remember that clip at the end. This. My brain wants to remember that. What the
Key
hell?
move that would revolutionize sports games as we knew them. They ported their 1983 arcade hit Punch-Out to the NES and paid heavyweight boxer
Mike
Mike
Tyson's
Tyson
Punch-Out.
a rumored $50,000 to endorse the game with his likeness for 3 years.
I gotta be real. I never actually beat this game. This was one of the other games that we owned, and we couldn't beat him. I think it was Sandman that we fight before him. Sandman was so freaking hard on his own. So whenever we would get to Mike, like Mike would just annihilate us.
Wasn't the first athlete endorsed for a video game, but it is definitely the first one most people can remember. After the 3 years were up, Nintendo stopped making Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and started making Punch-Out. It was the same in every way with the exception of the label and the final boss. Mike Tyson was replaced with a fictitious character named Mr. Dream.
Mr. Dream.
Anyone who played the game will tell you how they wanted a shot to fight Iron Mike. Mr. Dream just didn't have the same appeal. That's what made athlete endorsements so important.
Yep.
That is what sports fans and gamers wanted. In 1988, the Leland Corporation, now a division of Tradeweb...
I just think of a game like, it was also NES, I believe. And I heard a bunch of you mention it in the comments. Bird versus, or Jordan versus Bird. Now, if you would have taken those two guys' names out of there and just called it like 1v1 basketball, it would have not, it wouldn't have been the same thing. And that game was mainly, it was a 3-point shootout, a dunk contest, a one-on-one game between the two. And I can't remember anything else, but it was literally just those two players. And they're going head-to-head in all these different types of challenges. And cool dunk contest, by the way. I've never really enjoyed a dunk contest in a game, but that game stood out to me. And I actually did enjoy the mechanics of the dunking in that game.
US Games ported their game Quarterback to the NES.
Okay.
Following Nintendo's footsteps, they asked star quarterback of the Denver Broncos to endorse it, bringing us John Elway's Quarterback.
Oh.
The game just wasn't
That's why I know this game, but okay. Yeah, of course.
quite there, though. The controls were stiff, and the game underperformed compared to the arcade.
And the arcade was already bad enough. Ooh, this is rough.
Quarterback was released in 1989 along with 2 other football games. One of those was NFL Football by toy company LJN.
Oh, no.
They were able to secure
LJN, yeah, no. LJN, bad.
an exclusive NFL license to feature all 28 of the league's teams and logos.
Of course they did.
The NFL license was about all the game had to offer, really. NFL football is very slow and clunky. And to this day, I'm not really sure how to play it, as there's no screen to show me the plays that I'm picking.
Ooh.
NFL football just isn't a good game.
What a waste of a
which
license.
seems to be a trend with most LJN games.
Yeah, LJN sucks. Shout out to Angry Video Game Nerd if you've never watched his channel. He's one of the OGs of YouTube. And yeah, he's covered LJN in quite crazy detail. And it might be 1 out of 10 is a decent game, but for the most part, they just buy licenses and crap out a terrible Nintendo game.
The other game released that year was Tecmo Bowl.
All right, let's do it.
Tecmo wasn't able to secure the exclusive NFL license. However, they did manage to get a license from the NFL Players Association, which to me seems to be the better deal.
What's
For
that
the first time on a home console, you could play as your favorite NFL players.
Okay.
Well, at least some of them. With one license and not the other, Tecmo was able to have real players, but not the real teams or logos.
Oh.
There were only 12 teams, so if you were a fan of, let's say, the Tampa Bay Bucks or the Kansas City...
I'd rather have the players than the teams, because, yeah, you can just do this. Just don't put the actual name of the team. Just put the state or the city.
Chiefs, well, I guess you could play NFL football by LJN. There are 3 game modes to choose from. 1 player, 2 player, and coach mode, where you pick the plays and let the computer run them. I'm not really sure who would want to play something like that.
I mean, yeah, it was early stages for something like the simulation stuff that we have now. Way too ahead of its time though, because we're doing that in like 2K games and Madden and stuff like that, modern wise. But that's part of like a GM mode.
I'm looking at you, EA Sports. It starts you at the beginning of the season. However, there is a password system in place to continue your season so you can eventually reach the final game and win the coveted Tecmo Bowl trophy. Each team has their own unique playbook, and there are 4 plays to choose from. 2 are running plays and 2 are passing plays, unless you play as Miami or San Francisco, who have 3 passing plays and 1 running play. This made sense at the time.
Miami and San Fran?
Plays and 2 are passing plays, unless you play as Miami or San Francisco.
So unless you're Dan Marino or Joe Montana. All right, I feel you, Tecmo.
Who have 3 passing plays and 1 running play. This made sense at the time because these teams had pass-heavy offenses led by Dan Marino and Joe Montana.
Yes, sir.
The defense gets the same playbook as a blind attempt to guess the play. When the defense guesses it right, it usually results in a sack or an interception. It isn't usually a score fest, seeing that the defense is usually faster than the offense and can chase them down. That is unless you play as Bo Jackson,
there it is.
who is notoriously known for being abnormally fast in this game.
Yep.
Most fans of this game won't even play against or use
I love it.
Los
Look at him.
Angeles due to the unfair advantage one player will have over the other.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do against this guy? Bo don't know diddly. Oh wow, look at this. That brings me back. Bad.
Tecmo Bowl also got a port to Game Boy, as well as its own Tiger handheld toy.
God, you guys ever played these Tiger handhelds? So bad. Yet I was like jealous of anybody who had one of these because I never got a handheld console. I'll be completely real. My parents bought me the original NES, me and my brother, when we were kids. I think I was like 5 years old or something. After that, it was up to us. So no, we didn't get this. We didn't have any Game Boys. We had to save up money to get the Super Nintendo. And every console after that, we had an N64. We had a PlayStation 1 eventually. And after that, me and my brother started parting ways as far as what we wanted. I got to admit, I wanted a Sega Dreamcast, and we got it and regretted it, even though it was a great console. And then eventually got the PS2 instead, and the rest is history. But yeah, no, we had to come up with the money for that. So we would do hustling. We would hustle and do whatever we had to do to make money back then. Nothing illegal, but I mean, selling blow pops and stuff at school. Yep. You better believe it. I was learning about business from a very young age because of that stuff, and needed to take some of those profits to save up for a video game or a console or a box of cards, which was very common for us back then. Anyways, Tiger Electronics. Never owned one of these, but I know how terrible they are. I've played them now as an adult, and I'm like, oh wow, I dodged a bullet on that. Because what is that, $20? That's say $20.
In 1991, Tecmo was able to secure both the NFL and the NFLPA license. They released Super Tecmo Bowl and improved on the previous game in every way.
Yeah, this is the one. This is it. This game was officially my jam. G-Man. You know that's
More
Lawrence
game
Taylor.
modes were available this time around, including a full season and a Pro Bowl.
Yes.
The full season
Pro Bowl. We lived in the Pro Bowl games, me and my brother.
is the actual 1991 NFL season, and included in this game is a battery to save your progress. You can usually tell the games that have this feature by the gold label on the back.
Oh.
With the NFL license, all 28 of the teams were included, and the game is capable of recording stats from the season.
See, we never owned this game. We would just have to rent it. So I don't butts. I don't remember ever playing through a full season. Tell you the truth, we were always just playing head to head. Butts.
There were a few players that had issues with the NFLPA that were not included, but let's say reimagined.
Jim
Bills
Kelly.
QB is Jim Kelly.
That's my boy.
Eagles QB is
Randall.
Randall Cunningham.
Yep.
And Browns QB is Bernie Kosar.
Bernie Kosar, yeah.
A coin toss was added to the beginning of each game, and each playbook has been doubled now, giving us 8 plays per team. Instead of 9 players on the field, there are the appropriate 11. This brought the number of roster spots up considerably, and now injuries as well as substitutions are implemented. There are still dominant players. Take for instance Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants. Any QB playing against him was at a disadvantage as he easily
Boom.
penetrated opposing defenses.
That's my dog right there.
With the addition of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Nigerian Nightmare Christian Okoye was added to the roster. This was said to level the playing field as he is rumored to be just as good as Bo Jackson in the game.
Wait, who? Who? I'm sorry?
The Nigerian Nightmare Christian Okoye was added to the roster.
Oh, wow.
This was said to level the playing field as he is rumored to be just as good as Bo Jackson in the game.
Yep, he's looking like Bo.
The touchdown animations were also jazzed up quite a bit along
Yeah.
with some others. There is a new kicking animation.
Oh, yeah.
There's a new catching animation.
I
And we
remember
even
that.
get a
That used to
fun
piss
little
me off.
halftime show complete with the wave and cheerleaders.
It's funny, this parachuter thing,
So complete.
that hit a little different once once you guys remember the Mike Tyson was it Tyson Holyfield fight? Yeah. And parachuter, the freaking parachuter lands and gets I hate to say it. He landed in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the crowd, they saw this as an attack because some dude drops out of the sky into the crowd and they just pummel him. Oh my god. Yeah, that was the parachuter.
With the wave and cheerleaders.
Hey, not bad for Nintendo. they allowed this in Nintendo. I'm surprised they didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do that. I was just about to compliment like the graphics too and saying like that's great graphics for NES. Apparently, someone took it a little too far.
The game speed was slightly sped up, and fumbles
Joe
were also
Montana.
added to the gameplay mechanics, making Tecmo Super Bowl the only football game that anybody talked about.
Yeah.
And definitely the preferred football game on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
I love playing with San Fran. There's a lot of teams I like playing on this game, but Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, that duo is just fantastic in this game.
The Tecmo franchise continued on to the 16-bit era with releases on the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo systems, and then also had a release on the Sony PlayStation. That quickly came to a halt when EA Sports and their Madden franchise started to take over video game football as we know it.
I'm sad. I would take Tecmo Super
There
Bowl.
was a resurgence in 2008 when Tecmo Bowl Kickoff for the Nintendo DS was released.
Oh, wow. I don't know about this.
Then in 2010, Tecmo Bowl Throwback was released for the Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network. Neither one of these releases will be remembered like their 8-bit successors.
What about the Super Nintendo
To this
one?
day, Tecmo Bowl remains a cult phenomenon. The Bo Jackson exploitation has now become a Kia commercial, as well as a bit on an episode of Family Guy. Bo Jackson says he has never played the game.
No way.
Tecmo Bowl was rated number 30 in Nintendo Power's Top 100 featured in their 100th issue. This list also included Super Nintendo as well as Nintendo 64 games. Rapper Vanilla
Wow.
Ice says, and I quote, "Tecmo Bowl is the best game ever invented still to this day.
Wow.
Come and get some of this on Tecmo Bowl. I'll kill it and grill it." There's
Vanilla
even
Ice.
an annual Tecmo Bowl tournament that takes place in Wisconsin. Needless to say, the Tecmo Bowl franchise paved the way for football games we have today. For many of us, this game holds memories of the greatness we achieved in our living rooms in the 80s and 90s. Today we can play the original Tecmo Bowl arcade game for the Nintendo Switch on the Nintendo Game Store.
Whoa.
And you can find Super Tecmo Bowl as one of the 30 games featured on the NES Classic Mini. Proof that the spirit of this retro classic is here to stay.
Dude.
I hope you've enjoyed this brief history and retrospective of Tecmo Bowl. I enjoyed making it as I got to play a lot of the football games in my collection. Be sure to subscribe for more video game content as this channel closes in on 100 subscribers. Have a great day, and I'll
100
see you in the next
subscribers.
video.
That's that. That's the sound. I mean, my initial thought is I think I might check out that arcade game and on the Switch as long as it's not too much money. That sounds fun. Hold up, guys. Quinn Noble has 384 subscribers. Anybody who enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the content there, like, shoot a subscribe over there. That's crazy. That's crazy because this is actually a pretty good video. I'm surprised he has so few subscribers. Anyways, I loved it. The only thing I wish we got to see was the Super Nintendo versions. I'm gonna have to look those up on my own time because I don't remember them too well. But it seems like if we can get like the same gameplay from the NES version and stick that on the Super Nintendo version, it would be perfect. Sorry, I'm lost in thought. I'm just trying to figure out if I ever have, in fact, played the Super. I'm sure I did. We played all the sports games on Super Nintendo. I just can't recall it right now. Anyways, yeah, there it is. Tecmo Bowl and Tecmo Super Bowl, everybody. And learned a ton. Turns out there's an arcade game out there. Yeah, I didn't know about the DS game and then the Xbox Live game and all that stuff that's happened. I would love to see just like a modern remake of this that's still so basic, just like the original games, but just with beefed up graphics and sound. Like that would be perfect for me. that's an easy way to get $10 off of Minecraft over here. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought. Share some memories about the game, as I have. Excuse me. Still a little under the weather. Gotta love December. I apologize for the coughing, guys. Trying not to. But yeah, share some of your memories. I shared some of mine with you guys. And most of them just take me back to a fun time of just hanging out with my brother and playing video games. And then we'd head out and shoot hoops and back in and play video games, do our homework and all that good stuff. But this is one of those games that we rented so many times for the weekend, because back then it was like $1 and you get to keep the game for 3 days. And we rented this one all the freaking time. $1 for 3 days of entertainment, fantastic. But we just couldn't afford the $60 or whatever it was to buy it back then. Yeah, let me know. I want to see some stories in the comments, everybody. And let's have a good old time. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to get some rest. Hopefully I get rid of this cough real soon. And yeah, like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Have a wonderful, peaceful night. And yeah, let me know if any of you have played that arcade game on the Switch now, or if you played it in general. So many things to talk about in the comments. I'll see you all soon, okay? Have a wonderful night.